Car is against the outside wall at the entrance to the backstretch, and Neil has not climbed out of it yet. You can see him sitting in there. Let's hope that he wasn't injured when that car just suddenly shot to the right and into the concrete wall here.
Looks like he's moving around. Yes, he is moving around. Looks like he's checking the rearview mirror. Well, I hope he's okay.
Here's a replay of it. Neil Bonnet, Ron Bouchard is the car right ahead of him, and it appeared as if he was making the move on Bouchard or about to go to the outside when something happened.
Yeah, the left front smoked. I guess that was... No, there's something in the left front. I don't know if he has blown an engine or... I don't... Maybe just the brakes that was... Maybe it was just the brakes that he locked up when he anticipated the right front tire going down.
Well, in any case, the driver who led the first 74 laps has crashed. There is a lot of pit activity here on the main straightaway and in the backstretch, but our major concern right now is the condition of Neil Bonnet. He appears to be conscious and may be talking to the safety worker there, but on the other hand, he may have suffered some kind of injury. They are signaling for the ambulance. We'll take another look at what happened as Bonnet went into corner number 1.
The car just, something happens to the left front of the automobile. I don't know exactly what it is, but oh, that I feel that through every bone in my body, because believe me, I have done that so many times.
Well, there is Neil out of the car, but he is definitely groggy and you can see the grimace on his face indicating that he is in pain. Jack, what do you know about this down in the pit area?
We're down here in the pits looking at Neil Bonnet, and I've got Doug Reichert, who is the crew chief on the car. Doug, what did Neil report when before he got out of the car?
Well, he hit the wall very, very hard, Jackie. Right now he's complaining about maybe some possible head injuries, really hurting him pretty bad. So we come over here to see if we couldn't see what was going on with him.
So the entire team is over here being dispatched to check on the condition of their driver. I'll try to make my way over to him. Unfortunately, he's still resting up against the racing wall, the outside pit wall, kind of no man's land here on pit road. Yeah. We've got a little better vantage point now, taking a look at him, and it's obvious that he is in a certain degree of pain. Tim Brewer, who is also the team manager for the car, is over there instructing the NASCAR officials what to do. So, gentlemen, we'll check on it. We'll stay here and get back to you with more information as it becomes available.
Well, he did run across the track under his own power, but as you can see, he is seated now on the pit wall and appears to be in either some kind of pain or at the worst, he's just had his bell rung pretty good, because he did take a hard shot to that outside wall. He's being escorted across the pit area there in the back, and we will hopefully have a word for him in a few moments. We'll be back in a moment.
He's made his way to the back pits here. Neil, first of all, are you okay?
I don't know. The throttle hung wide open. I backed out of the gas, and the car just kept pulling, and I was standing on the brake and just kept going straight.
You stayed in the car for so very long, though. Did you get knocked out?
Well, I thought I was, but I couldn't get any help out there, so I just had to get out.
Well, we're going to let him go off to the medical attention here at Bristol International Raceway and throw it back up to you people.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Once again, Neil has mentioned the fact that he's not as pleased as he could be with the speed of the medical teams at some of the NASCAR Winston Cup races, Benny.
Well, I understand exactly what he's talking about. He was sitting there. He was hurting. The only problem that I got is that he can't get the other 30 or 31 guys out there to slow down well enough for the medical guys to get out there. Look at that race car, the right rear tire.
Yeah, it's pretty well damaged on the, especially on the front end of the car. Neil Bonnet had led laps 12 through 75, a total of 63 laps. He was in the lead when this accident occurred. But Neil Bonnet is for now being taken to the infield hospital to be checked over. We hope that his condition will be recorded as okay. 81 laps completed now, and we'll be right back. It's about to come out once again on Bristol International Raceway, and this 500-lap event resumed. There's the green, and now Dale Earnhardt is in command after that accident involving our leader, Neil Bonnet. Second place is Terry Labonte. Third is Ricky Rudd, and Rudd is on the inside of Terry Labonte, giving him a challenge for second position. We do have an in-car camera in Joe Ruttman's number 26. We've been having some difficulty with it, but now we believe we have the problem straightened out, and there is the view from inside the number 26 car that Joe Ruttman drives.
That's Tommy Ellis in the Freelander car right in front of him. Look the way Tommy Ellis' car moves around going through the turns.
This is 13th and 14th position. Tommy is in 13th, and our in-car camera carried by Joe Ruttman in 14th position.
See him going down the straightaway. When they get to the turn, they'll duck down right to the bottom of the racetrack. Now they go up just a little bit. Exit in turn 2, right on the bottom of the racetrack, back up to the outside retaining wall. Now, turn 3, right on the bottom. Ruttman's going to try on the outside of Tommy Ellis. He can't make it.
And Benny, we have noticed some of the cars bottoming out, especially going into corner number 1.
Yes, they are. The bumps going in turns 1 and turn 3 are rough, and the cars will bottom out.
You know, one of the things that you think about when you see the in-car camera is how short a lap is here. 16 seconds, and in that time, you go down 2 straightaways and you get into 2 corners, and it just seems like that you would lose all perspective of where you are and what's going on around you.
At these speeds, sometimes you do get disorganized and really truly don't understand which corner you're going through, either 1, 2, 3, or 4. There we see Joe Ruttman again, still trying to get by Tommy Ellis. Tommy Ellis was lapped a moment ago by the 12 car by Neil Bonnet, but when Neil crashed, Tommy Ellis was able to get that lap back, so he's in the lead lap.
Back up front, it is Dale Earnhardt leading the race. Labonte, then Rudd, then Waltrip, then Elliott, and then this man who is running very strong here in the early going of this race, Richard Petty in car number 43, the STP Pontiac. He is in 6th position, and Richard Petty started this race from 11th spot, so he's done well here in the first 91 laps.
Richard Petty has been running extremely strong, and the 4th place car right now, Darrell Waltrip, we talked about earlier on, he did have a chassis problem. The car was pushing a little bit too much, but he's hadn't been able to make a pit stop. They've adjusted the car. It looks like his car right now is as fast as anyone's.
Richard Petty with 200 wins on the Winston Cup Trail. And our word from spotters located throughout this racing arena is that we are beginning to see a few drops of rain fall once again. Now, of course, they must complete 250 of the 500 laps, 251 laps, as a matter of fact, before this race can be declared a full race. We're a long way from that point. Let's hope that the rain can stay away and we can get this event in. But it rained hard here this morning and delayed the start of this event for a little over an hour.
Dale Earnhardt put a few car links on Terry Labonte on the first couple of laps a moment ago, but Labonte right on the back bumper of the 3 car. Earnhardt got his hands full to stay up. Ricky Rudd in the 4th. He's going to try Terry Labonte off turn 2.
Ricky Rudd trying the inside, but not able to take this spot away from Terry Labonte. And talk about a team that needs to do well. Ricky Rudd has not had a particularly great season so far. His best finish at 11th in the very first race at Daytona. And it's been a situation in which that Ford has dropped out of the other races. And Bud Moore, his crew chief, is not here this weekend. And it's the first race that he has missed since 1972. Greg Moore, his son, is acting as crew chief on the Ricky Rudd machine.
Looked like Labonte and Earnhardt got together momentarily coming off turn 4 just a moment ago. Both were able to straighten their car out to continue on. Terry Labonte, car running extremely strong today. His car all year, the Oldsmobile, has been strong.
And of course, you are also driving an Oldsmobile this year. Have you been pleased with its performance?
Yes, I have. But I tell you, this fellow Labonte's been putting a lot of pressure on us because everywhere he goes, he runs well. That means an Oldsmobile will do it. We just got to figure out how.
Next week, when we visit Darlington International Raceway, Benny will not be in the broadcast booth, but will be on the racetrack competing. And we hope you do well next weekend at Darlington when we present the Trans-South 500 from that very famous and exciting racetrack.
Well, I'm going to come up on Saturday and work for you doing the Grand National race just to keep you fellows straight.
No, we appreciate that. Labonte now to the inside once again, but unable to pass Dale Earnhardt. They put another lap on Trevor Boys in car number 6. There is Rudd also to the high side of the racetrack, and right behind Rudd is Darrell Waltrip. And And if Waltrip did have a handling problem in the early going, he appears to have solved that problem at this point. Jeff Bodine, who was one of those who made a pit stop during the yellow flag we had for the Neil Bonnet accident, is moving back up through traffic.
But he is having some problems. This is a pole sitter, and he was 1 mile per hour faster than anyone else. And right now he is drifting back. He's in 9th spot, and really it's a poor 9th. He's got some serious problems that he's going to have to adjust on some pit
stops. And he drops off the pace. And Kyle Petty passes him. He is definitely slowing down and maybe coming into the pits. Yes, he is. Jeff Bodine, our pole sitter, heads for pit road. Now, again, we remind you that it's very, very wet. Down to a crash here on the main straightaway. Bobby Hillin Jr.'s car is on fire and hits the wall. Now another car involved. Dave Marcus spun, and Eddie Birschwall hit him. Bobby Hillin also involved. Hillin's car is against the outside retaining wall, and Dave Marcus and Eddie Birschwall's cars are on the infield in turn number 1. Wow. The accident occurred as the cars came off of corner number 4, and the first impact with the wall, I believe, was with Bobby Hillin on the inside. And then Marcus also in the wall, and Ernie Birschwall T-boned Marcus as the car slid down into that first corner area.
Jeff Bodine got a break, you know, at the expense of someone else, but that's the way it is in stock car racing. But we saw him coming down pit road. There we see Bobby Hillin moving around, talking to the fellow. Looks like he is okay. But
the safety crew is right there, we might mention, on this accident.
Yes, they sure are. But Jeff Bodine started down pit road, as we saw on our camera a moment ago. When the caution came out, when these two fellows crashed, Gary Nelson, his crew chief, very wisely sent him right back on the racetrack, so he's able to make a free pit stop. Jackie Arute has something else to add to it.
Well, I'm looking at all 3 cars from my vantage point right now. First, let's update you on Bobby Hillin. Hillin is still inside the car. An ambulance attendant is administering to him with the window net down. Now, taking a look at Eddie Birschwall's machine, Eddie is okay. He is out of the car, walking around the Kodak Pontiac. He's going to go up, in fact, and check on the condition of Dave Marcus, who is also still located inside of his automobile. As soon as they come our way, we'll try and get a word with one of the 3.
There's Dave Marcus. He appears to be okay. He's unstrapping himself, unhooking the radio, and I think will be climbing out of that car. And there is Eddie Birschwall, who is already climbed out of his car, and he appears to be in real good shape. He's explaining what happened to members of his pit crew. We have a replay of it, and you can see that initial impact has already been made, and Hillin's car heads right straight up the bank with a little bit of fire coming from it, and then Birschwall to the bottom right of your screen making contact with Marcus.
Well, the problem that Birschwall had is the 17 car, Doug Hevron, was slowed naturally to try to miss the accident, and they were heading for the same spot. Birschwall, rather than try to hit the 17, tried to try to miss the cars on the bottom of the racetrack. Unfortunately, Dave Marcus spun right down to where he was going.
Bobby Hillin runs down the bank and appears to be okay. Now let's take another look at it from another camera angle, and this was the initial contact. There is Jeff Bodine coming into the pits on the bottom. At the top of your screen, watch the number 98 car. That is Ron Bouchard, who may have had a hand in what happened behind him. There is Dave Marcus' car, and they're putting it on the hook. So all drivers now are out of their cars and appear to be okay. Bobby Hillin ran down the bank and will probably be taken to the infield hospital.
That fellow you see in the blue coveralls laying on the car, if I'm not mistaken,